This isn't James Bond swingsuit. Press a button. And you see daylight through my.
Just don't stand up.
The person that wrote this has a picture hanging in her house of her grandparents. It's one of these old photographs that was taken in 1891 when the pictures were done in a studio and you had to sit kind of like stiff, you know, black and white. And this was a photograph of her grandparents. And she never knew them because they both died before she was even born. They had 7 children, and the grandmother died at the birth of the 8th child. It was one of these childbirth deaths. And the father went on to raise the 7 children, the youngest of which was the father of the person that wrote this. So that father was only a year old when his mother died, so he never knew his mother either. The grandfather, eventually was murdered. He got caught up in Ireland in the battle between the Protestants and the Catholics. Body was never found. They don't know where he's buried. But anyway, he was murdered, killed before she was born, so she never knew him either. But she's got this portrait hanging on her wall, this old picture hanging on her wall. And she was looking at this picture one day, and she decided to write down her thoughts that were going through her mind, looking at a picture of her grandparents that she never knew. And we've all been there. We've all seen these pictures, and that's why I think this is kind of relevant. Now, this isn't give me the name of the poet. Bernard Shaw. I mean, this is a later one. But when I read this, I just thought it was very well done. It's called What Can't Be Seen. What Can't Be Seen. How formal are these two whose eyes gaze back at me from Ireland in November 1891. They married the 18th of that dreary month. Perhaps they wanted Christmas together by the fire in their home. This was a wedding photo. What do I see in the downturn of her gentle eyes? Gentle eyes. And the determined line of his clean-cut jaw. His mustache elegantly frames his failed attempt at solemn dignity. A smile lurks around the corner of his mouth and finds its echo in his forthright eyes. Grandma, she is plainly dressed as for market, not for church. A curl escapes her carefully unswept hair. His message cannot be stilled by miles or years removed. He demands that I look at him to know my lineage and my blood. But I am drawn to her, and in her tender look see all that she would not see. My father, the last baby she would dawdle on her knee, left motherless 1 month past his first birthday. Her husband murdered into mystery long after Irish moss obscured his humble grave. I do not know why my wall holds testimony to their hope and innocence. I know he stayed a widower. He raised his 6 children up to lives that she might have dreamed. But she never was a grandma, and I don't know where he's buried. They are mine forever, though I was never theirs at all. And that is all a picture in the hall. I mean, what is genealogy all about? You know, we have names, dates, they're written down. But what's behind these names? What is behind, you know, these faces? And a good genealogist tries to answer that question, tries to put personality to everybody in the tree. People you never know, and you don't know people that did know. I mean, you have to put together things that you can dig up. And one of the things that this did is just by reading the facial expressions and trying to put yourself in their soul almost. I just thought this was great. Well, this was written by Sharon Nellie, about her grandparents. And she's the one that I